Mary Anne Burrows will be presenting a speech from the successful club series called Evaluate to Motivate. This is a module from Toastmasters, and one of the requirements for the advanced communicator silver. The purpose of the speech is to explain the value of an effective evaluation. The speaker is to explain how to prepare and give a valuable evaluation and the benefits to the person being evaluated. Please welcome Mary Anne Burrows.
Fellow Toastmasters, and especially to our welcome guests. Evaluations. Doesn't that just make you squirm in your chair hearing that word? Doesn't it conjure up ideas of the boss calling you into the office to give you a rundown of what you need to improve? Well, most of us don't look very favorably on receiving evaluations, nor are we very comfortable at giving evaluations. It's just not something that we're really comfortable doing. Now, Toastmasters has as one of its roles the role of evaluator. We have all of our speeches evaluated as well as our general evaluator, which Cheryl will be doing a little bit later. So we have to learn how to be comfortable at not only giving evaluations, but receiving evaluations. So today I'd like to give you some hints and some tools on how to do that. It's very important to note that we want to give evaluations that promote the speaker to move forward, not so that the speaker feels like they've done it wrong and why should I bother getting back up here? Because obviously when somebody spends the time to write a speech, prepare a speech, and then give a speech, no matter if it was the worst speech the Toastmasters ever had, that was an accomplishment. And I've noticed that nobody that I've ever watched progress in Toastmasters has ever gotten worse. So we really want to keep moving forward. I'm going to go through some of the techniques that we want to work on. Make that a little bit straighter. On how to be a good evaluator. First of all, provide immediate feedback. We know when someone gives a speech, 5-10 minutes later, they'll be given an evaluation, which gives them the feedback to help them have that information available as they prepare their next speech. Or, as we all know, we're going to be doing our contest in a few more weeks, and as Linda knows, once you win at the club level, if you go to the next level, you want to get feedback from the group to find out if I can tweak my speech and make it even better the next time I present it. So there's a great value of that immediate feedback. Then, offering methods of improvement. Just telling someone, well, you didn't do that very well, isn't very helpful. But if you say, no, the ending of your speech was a little bit weak, perhaps you might pump it up a little bit and make it even stronger. That way you've taken the situation as it was presented and then you've moved it forward so that that speaker has even a stronger speech than the one they had before. And then building and maintaining self-confidence. Or self-esteem. We want to make sure, as I said earlier, that the speaker leaves the room today enthusiastic and excited about writing their next speech. Unlike much dialogue that goes on when we communicate with somebody, usually it's somebody speaking and somebody responding. This is a little bit different. The evaluator's purpose is to speak and give their opinion of what things were good in the speech and the things that need to be improved. Now, I would also like to add just a little asterisk next to that, in that when you're taking in the information from somebody's evaluation, if that doesn't feel right to you, you don't have to take it in. I've given speeches at 3 or 4 different locations and had a totally different response from the audience. So it's your speech, do what you want with it, but also take the value of an evaluation and make improvements if you agree with what is said. How to evaluate effectively. Show that you're interested. It's very important if you present yourself to the speaker, ask the speaker if there's anything specifically that you want them to look for. manual the person is going to be speaking from. You can read it the night before, get an idea of what that specific speech is about, so that when you're observing that particular speech, you know exactly what the criteria of that speech is, so that when you're evaluating the speaker, you know exactly what you're looking for. Because I think a lot of times we might just evaluate the speech, but not really become aware of what that specific speech is about. For instance, a non-speech today was on visual aids. Well, if the person evaluated on something totally different than that, it missed the point of that specific speech. Let's see. Promote self-esteem. Again, we want to make sure that we always leave the speaker feeling good about what they have accomplished. And be sure that you evaluate the speech, not the speaker. That's something I think we sometimes miss, because we really want to hone in on the value of what that speech was, what that particular speaker accomplished by giving that speech, not a personal aspect of, well, I didn't like the way they were dressed that day. But on the same token, if their outfit doesn't lend itself, for instance, if somebody was giving a very professional speech and they were dressed in very, very casual clothes, the type of clothing they wore that day might have an effect on the way they were presenting themselves in the speech. Okay, personalize your language. Make sure you're speaking to that speaker. Oftentimes, at the beginning of an evaluation, people will say things such as, this is an evaluation for, say, for instance, Jonah today. And this is my opinion about what I saw in Jonah's speech. So personalize it towards the person. Evaluate the speech areas and promote self-esteem. Okay. Again, fill out, listen and observe. This is a beautiful opportunity for us as Toastmasters to have really good listening skills. And then be able to take those skills and present them in a way where you're actually aiding the speaker. Very valuable tool. Fill out the manual. When you get your manual from the person who's giving the speech, make sure you go through the criteria, fill that out so that you can hand that to them at the end of the meeting. Also good feedback. Remember that an evaluation is a 2 to 3 minute roll. In the recent past, we've had a little bit of going over our time frame, and we all know that the time frames in Toastmasters are very valuable. So the length of the length of the evaluation cannot go past 2.5 or 3.5 minutes. So try to keep it in the time frame. When you're going through and beginning to do your evaluation, one way to keep it in that 2 to 3 minutes is to think of 2 or 3 things that the speaker did within the speech that really stood out for you, and share the information about that. Then pick 1 or 2 things that could have been worked on that you felt a little bit of improvement should have. And then explain how you might change that so that the speaker would be more effective. And then leave the speaker feeling encouraged and motivated so that they're going to start writing that very next speech. And so now I hope that you have proposed about the idea of giving evaluations as well as receiving them. I would like to pass out some evaluation forms so that you'll have something to take home.